You ever hear about a car that feels like it disappeared before it ever got the attention it deserved? That's the Saturn Ion, a compact sedan that arrived on the scene in 2003, may not be the first car that pops into your mind when you think of iconic vehicles, but it certainly made an impression during its production run. While it may not have garnered the mainstream recognition of some other vehicles, the Ion stood out for its unique design, quirky features, and hidden potential. If there ever was a car that seemed to slip through the cracks of automotive history before getting the recognition it deserved, the Saturn Ion is a prime example. Let's take a look at this car. To understand the Saturn Ion's place in automotive history, it's essential to first look at the brand behind it. If you remember Saturn, you likely associate it with something a little different from the other mass-market automakers of the time. Saturn's primary aim was to break away from the cookie-cutter designs that dominated the automotive landscape in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. The company made a name for itself by offering cars with a more customer-friendly experience. No haggling, no pressure, and no nonsense. Saturn's vision was to create something fresh and unique, and the Ion was the car that embodied this spirit. Introduced in 2003 as the successor to the Saturn S series, the Ion was built on the GM Delta platform. This platform was shared with other compact cars, including the Chevrolet Cobalt, which would also go on to have a notable impact on the compact car market. However, despite this shared platform, the Ion was far from a standard compact car. It was designed to be something different, with a style and personality that stood apart from its competitors. At its core, the Ion was an attempt to offer something more than just another entry in the crowded compact sedan segment. In the early 2000s, the demand for practical, affordable cars was on the rise, but Saturn wanted to deliver a model that brought something new to the table, something that would attract buyers not just looking for transportation, but also something with character. When it came to trims, the Saturn Ion offered a range of options, each catering to different needs and preferences. From the no-frills base model to the performance-focused Red Line, the Ion provided something for just about everyone. The base model was the most basic offering. This version of the Ion was built for budget-conscious buyers who didn't need all the bells and whistles. It came equipped with cloth seating, 14-inch tires on steel wheels, and manual windows. Yes, manual windows. It was a simpler time, and for some, that simplicity was appealing. Under the hood, the base came with a 2.2-liter Ecotec inline-4 engine that produced a modest 140 horsepower. This engine was paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, making it a basic but functional option for those seeking an affordable and reliable commuter car. The base trim wasn't flashy, but it was practical, and for many that's all they needed. The Level 2 trim was a step up in terms of comfort and features. This model added air conditioning, upgraded seating, and a 15-inch tire upgrade. The improvements weren't drastic, but they made the car more comfortable for everyday use. If the Level 1 was the bare-bones model, the Level 2 offered just enough additional features to make it a more livable option for daily driving. The Level 3 trim was where the Saturn Ion started to shine. This version of the car featured 16-inch aluminum alloy wheels, power windows and locks, keyless entry, and a decent stereo system. It was a clear upgrade from the lower trims and offered a more refined driving experience. With the Level 3, the Ion started to feel like more of a premium offering in the compact car segment. The addition of power accessories and better wheels gave the car a more polished appearance, while still maintaining its affordability. Now enough with the boring stuff, you're here to see the performance-oriented version of the Ion, the Saturn Ion Red Line. The Ion Red Line was a performance variant that didn't just look fast, it was fast. Powered by a 2.0-liter supercharged inline-4 engine, the Ion Red Line produced 205 horsepower. In a compact car, that's serious power, and it gave the Red Line a noticeable edge over its competitors. The Red Line wasn't just about raw horsepower, it also came with a sport-tuned suspension, aggressive body kits, and front grills, making it clear that Saturn was serious about performance. The 205 horsepower was enough to give the Red Line a thrilling driving experience, and for the performance enthusiast, it was a car worth considering. GM even offered performance upgrade kits for the Red Line. The Stage 1 kit boosted the output to 236 horsepower, while the Stage 2 kit took it even further to 241 horsepower. But the Ion Red Line's performance didn't stop at the street. In 2003, the Red Line set a land speed record at the Bonneville Salt Flats, reaching an impressive 212 miles per hour. This was a testament to the Ion Red Line's true performance capabilities. It wasn't just a show car, it was a real contender on the speed charts. One of the most striking and controversial aspects of the Saturn Ion was its interior design, particularly its central instrument panel. Most cars at the time followed a fairly standard layout. Dashboard, the steering wheel, and the gauges were all in their traditional places. But Saturn, in an attempt to stand out, decided to do things differently. In the Ion, the instrument panel was positioned in the center of the dashboard, directly in front of the driver and passenger. This was a bold move that aimed to create a futuristic driving experience. The idea behind this central instrument panel was to provide better visibility for the driver and passenger, eliminating the need for the gauges to be positioned behind the steering wheel. In theory, this would offer a clearer view of the road. However, the execution was met with mixed reactions. Some found the central layout refreshing and futuristic, while others felt it was more of a gimmick than a practical solution. Nevertheless, the unique design added a certain charm to the Ion, making it stand out from the sea of similar compact cars on the market. This bold design choice may not have won over everyone, but it certainly made the Ion memorable. It was one of those features that people either loved or hated, but it contributed to the car's overall quirky appeal. Despite its unique design and quirky features, the Saturn Ion's time in the spotlight was relatively short-lived. Production of the Ion ended in 2007, and it was replaced by the Saturn Astra, a European import that was rebranded for the US market. While the Astra had its merits, it didn't quite capture the same charm or distinctiveness that the Ion had. The end of the Ion also marked the end of an era for Saturn. The Ion was the last passenger car ever built at Saturn's Spring Hill, Tennessee plant, a facility that had been instrumental in the brand's rise to prominence. With the end of the Ion, Saturn's brief but interesting foray into the world of compact cars came to a close. Throughout its production run, the Saturn Ion went through several updates and improvements. In 2004, Saturn made several refinements, including improvements to the electric power steering and upgrades to the interior materials. The seats in the base models became more comfortable, and the sound system saw improvements for those who wanted better audio quality while driving. And by 2005, the Ion underwent a significant transmission change. Saturn replaced the continuously variable transmission, or CVT, with a more traditional 4-speed automatic transmission. This change also introduced the quiet steel feature, which helped reduce cabin noise and created a more refined ride. The goal was to make the Ion quieter and more comfortable, which was a notable improvement. In 2006, the Saturn Ion 3 received an upgrade to a 2.4-liter engine, which produced 170 horsepower and 162 foot-pounds of torque. This gave the Ion a noticeable performance boost and made it feel more competitive in its class. The interior was also further refined, giving the Ion a more upscale feel. Then came the 2007 Ion, which marked the end of the model's production, but it also served as a fitting farewell. The Ecotec engines were tweaked to produce more power. The car also received a new appearance package with redesigned bumpers and fog lamps, giving it a more polished and modern look. So, should you consider the Saturn Ion if you're in the market for a cheap used car? The answer depends on what you're looking for. If you're searching for a car with character, a bit of history, and a fun driving experience, the Ion might just be the right choice for you. It's not the most luxurious or the fastest car on the market, but it offers a unique combination of affordability, style, and performance. The Ion, especially the Red Line trim, had just enough personality to make it stand out without feeling too outlandish. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't need to be. It offered a driving experience that was just a little different from the typical compact sedan. For enthusiasts or anyone looking for a car that offers something beyond the ordinary, the Saturn Ion could be a great option. Looking back, the Saturn Ion represents a time when the brand was trying to step up its game in the automotive world. It was quirky, unique, and offered a surprising amount of performance, especially in the Red Line trim. The Ion might not have achieved mainstream success, but it certainly holds a special place in the hearts of those who owned or admired it. It was an attempt to do something different in a market full of similar sedans, and for that, it deserves recognition. If you like the Ion Red Line, go check out the video I made on its sibling, the Cobalt SS. The Saturn Ion may have had a brief production run, but it remains an interesting chapter in the history of compact sedans. So, what do you think? Have you ever driven an Ion Red Line? Would you buy one today if the opportunity arose? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Ion, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. We've got plenty more hidden performance gems to talk about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.